everyone. This is Vishal from Equity Guru, and welcome to Chart Attack. And today, has cannabis finally bottomed? That's the $1 million question. A few weeks ago, I did, on one of our investor roundtable, I did call a cannabis bottom. However, a few days later, we had that geopolitical risk, which didn't allow the cannabis stocks to continue their breakout, but maybe some good news here. Not just on the fundamental front, but also on the technical side of things, because I see some good things again. But let's start off with this major news. Of course, this happened on April 1st. And from what I know, this wasn't an April Fool's joke, but the House did pass a landmark marijuana legalization bill, and I believe it was that SAFE Act. And now it's not basically all clear yet. This bill has to pass the Senate. It's moving forward in the Senate, and that's going to be the big test because, as you guys know, things can be passed in the House, and sometimes the Senate can just knock it back down. So it's all about decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level, and the bill would establish procedures for expunging previous convictions from people's records and impose a tax on the sale of cannabis products. And you can read, a bit more about the tax rates and all the other things that can go, that basically are included in the bill. I know a few states have always have legalized marijuana, and they've always said it's great because it creates new jobs, right? So maybe that's going to be the topic that's going to be discussed when it goes to the Senate. But let's see, the vote was 220 to 204, but the Senate is where the real action's going to take place. And as Chris Perry said here, and a few other of our cannabis bulls, that this has happened a few times, right? We always get this good news from the US House or in politics, but then, it always sort of gets slapped down. So the question is now, is this the real deal, right? Or is this still just a buy the rumor, sell the news event? So we're going to take a look at some ETFs here, some cannabis ETFs, which look good, but we're also going to look at four Canadian companies here. Two of them, one is Harborside and one is Avant Brands, and both of these deal with selling, cannabis products. Harborside is focused in the state of California, and then Avant Brands is up here in Canada, I believe. Yes, they are across Canada. And then we have basically SOL Global Investments, which are a company that's not necessarily just cannabis focused. They are a private equity firm targeting some of the best-in-class companies, and they're looking at legal U.S. cannabis industry, the esports space, electric mobility, health and wellness. But of course, some of you guys are probably liking the legal U.S. cannabis part of things, and I believe they do have Verano in their portfolio. This I don't know if I can move that little ticker here, but I did see Verano. So I guess that's the big cannabis play in their portfolio. And then you have Terrascend, which is a leading vertically integrated North American operator that basically deals with cultivating the plants, right? High quality cannabis, which can then be sold to both the medical and legal adult use markets. And they have brands here, including Gage Cannabis, Apothecarium, and a few more here. So one thing, we have one thing for everyone. You can sort of see here, full year 2021 net sales of $210 million. So we have a producer, we have a private equity firm, and then we have some of the smaller, companies here that sell the actual cannabis and cannabis products. So let's take a look at the charts of all of these things. But as I always do, I like to take a top-down approach. So let's take a look at the major ETFs. In this case, I have two. I have MSOS, which is the US, the pure US cannabis ETF. And you can see we sort of got excited around here. We thought that this ETF would hold above $20 here. Didn't do such thing. Instead, it broke below. And, a lot of the cannabis bulls are like, oh, man, not this again. This sucks. But just recently, on March 18th, we actually broke back above what used to be support, now turned resistance. Usually, we pull back to retest before, seeing sellers pile back in. But in this case, sellers did not pile back in. Rather, we broke back above, and I think it was because of these headlines of this upcoming vote in the House, and it did pass, but you can see we haven't done anything since then. We've just been ranging here now for about 2 trading weeks, just between $20 and $21 here to the upside. and we're just now waiting for a breakout in either direction. And you can see what adds even more drama to this whole story is the fact that I have this downtrend line, which is connecting all these lows here. And if we do break above that, I think there's a good case to say that there's a new bull trend that's beginning here in the MSOS space, but we can't say that just yet because, as you can see, as I'm recording this, we still cannot break above $21. We are seeing some selling pressure, so we could just continue to base or range around here, and maybe even worse, break below $20 again and continue the downtrend. So, a bit optimistic, but we just want to play it safe, wait for that breakout. Funnily enough, on the Canadian side of things, wow, that is actually looking quite exciting. And we have also another basing pattern here, maybe a potential inverse head and shoulder pattern. We do need to break above this 615 zone here, get a close above it to confirm the actual trend reversal. So not looking shabby at all. And essentially what I'm waiting for now is this could be our right shoulder in that inverse head and shoulder technical pattern. We just want to, though, see that break. Oh, not that. I want to get a nice line so I can sort of show you guys what I want to see. Get that break above. I don't know why my arrow tool is not working here. There we go. But I want to see this break above this 615 zone here. If you get that close, you have your inverse head and shoulder basically triggered, and the start of a new uptrend, really, to be honest. These are the type of reversal patterns you want to see, especially after a very long downtrend and near a pretty big support level, which I think all of that criteria is met. So looking exciting, because I know a lot of people were focused on the US side of things, but maybe there's some life here on the Canadian side of things. And it could just be because these stocks are so beat up that they look so cheap right now compared to a lot of other sectors and industries in the market. Now, let's break down a few of these charts here. SOL Global is one that I've actually done in a previous video. In yesterday's video, it was one of our top equity group stock picks. And I won't say too much about it because the same technical still apply. We had this breakdown below $1.50. Things look bad, but then we got this huge engulfing candle on March 25th, and we've broken back above $1.50, pulled back, saw buyers step in on 31st, and looking good so far, to be honest. If we get that break above this 174 to 75 zone, I think that triggers a nice new bullish run uptrend cycle, which could be very profitable for long-term to intermediate holders. I think this is one that you can even act on with your stop losses below this $1.50 zone. I think the breakout here is looking quite nice. And again, this company is not just focused on US cannabis, but has other elements as well in the private equity portfolio. So you're going to get the best of a lot of worlds, but I would still consider taking a look at that portfolio and breaking down some of those companies there, because in this video, I'm just focusing on the cannabis side of things. Terrascend, very interesting, where we have tested a major support zone, that we've held 3 times at around the $6 zone there. And you can see there's a lot of wicks. This chart is a bit choppy, I guess you can say. Some people I know have drawn, this downtrend line as well, just like I have on a few other charts. So you have this basically wedge or triangle breakout, which you can see we pulled back to retest it, and the buyers have continued to bring this back above the trend line. So some potential here. I do like trend lines, but I do prefer resistance and support. I think they're a bit better in terms of technical levels to work with. So what I would be watching is for a nice breakout above this $7.50 zone. When I mean nice, I mean a strong breakout. So this candle on April 1st doesn't really cut it for me. Something like this, if it was green, that would have been nice, but you can see instead, we're seeing sellers step back in. So it's not the breakout that we're looking for. But if we get a breakout close above $7.50, I think we have something to work with here on Terrascend. Harborside, once again, a lot of these charts, they're telling me as a technical analyst that there could be some nice bottoming happening here. Harborside is one that you could say has already triggered a bottoming pattern. And what I mean by that is this W shape here, which is known as a double bottom pattern where essentially you don't break below the lows. You just basically find support at previous lows and make a double bottom, or what looks like the shape of a W. And that's usually, you know, a very good reversal signal, especially at the bottom of a downtrend, which of course we have had here. Take a look at this one, because this was also could be considered a double bottom, right? It looks like a W, but the only difference is we did not get the breakout above the resistance or the neckline. On this W, we did get that breakout on this W or double bottom. So to me, folks, this is a triggered double bottom pattern. We remain bullish above 57.5 cents here above this neckline. And you can see we actually did come back to retest it briefly here on the 18th of March and the 22nd of March. Now you just ride this. And I think if you're not into this stock just yet, two ways to play this. If you get close to the bottoms here, you can, you know, buy an entry at the support here around the neckline, or you wait for momentum, which is the breakout above this 81.5 cent zone. And I say that because if you don't get that breakout, the stock could just continue to range here, and you don't really want to see that when you have your money working for you. But this could be one that basically has already triggered that double bottom and can do a continuation. So keep an eye out on Harborside. And then finally here, Avant Brands, which, you know, sort of similar to Harborside, in fact, where we have a potential double bottom, but of course the double bottom on Harborside has already triggered. So it's actually, now that I think about it, a mix of Harborside and Terrascend, because we have a double bottom, and we could also have this triangle that's also been broken out of. So a lot of positive signs, folks. I'm not going to lie here. A lot of these charts are showing very good signs of bottoming and potential continuation, but that continuation is the key, which requires a breakout above these previous high levels. So in the case here of Avant Brands, you know, you want this breakout here above 32 cents. And really, you know, as a guy who's into trading momentum, it's maybe a bit safer or better to wait for that breakout above previous highs for that continuation, because as I've said, if you don't get that breakout, you could just continue to range, and you don't really want to see that when you're putting your hard money at work. So cannabis here looks quite bullish. What I would be watching are these two ETFs here, HMMJ and MSOS, because when these break out, as I outlined earlier in this video, I think you're going to see some good moves in some of these charts. So I really like what I'm seeing here on these charts. A bit excited here on HMMJ, I'm not going to lie, it's looking quite nice. And MSOS, you know, is having a lot of signs here, but we just need that one trigger. That's it for me, folks. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to follow us on all our social media links in the description box below. But more importantly, I know there's a lot of you cannabis bulls or maybe bears out there. What's your take on this? Is this a buy the rumor, sell the news event, or is this it? Is this actually going to be the time when we get that federal legalization in the cannabis space and we see a new uptrend in all these cannabis stocks, or do you think we have further downside to go? Let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to read your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys all in the next chart attack video.